Sarah's Kitchen, and there's free admission entertainment every weekend.
Check this.
Welcome to the DL debate. Thanks so much for tuning in now on Highland Radio, or if you're listening back via the podcast. Thank you to legendary Ivan Borland and the Power Hour Plus, Katie, for the news there. Joe Dex is here, as ever, producing and looking after us with another huge weekend of Championship Club action to review. I just want to say first, from the top of the show, a special hello to Danny McGrady down there in Downlands. He looked after me Sunday morning at a puncture in the Downlands Bay. We were well looked after, as I say, Saturday night. We stayed down in Downlands after a club game. The club game was rearranged to Saturday night. I want to thank Downlands Club for facilitating, and Maxie Kern down there, their manager. I hope it wasn't him who punctured my tyre after the game. But listen, I want to thank the club, of course. Sunday, folks, I just want to mention, very emotional day for everybody at St Eunan's, and especially to Kathy McGlynn, their family, the McHughes, and of course the McGlynn family. Listen, Aidan was a great club man and a great friend of all ours, and you know, just thinking about club and the people that make it, and you know, it's not just what they do, all this work that goes on in the background, it's the way it's done. You know, people do things, they add their own personality to it, they create friendships and bonds, and you know, himself and Gareth there doing the stats this long time have had such a bond with all the senior team, and I was so proud of the club yesterday, and lovely service in the cathedral, and the send-off that the club gave him, and the senior team, you know, on Aidan's final journey from the park that he loved so much to Cornwall. It was a real special moment in such a sad time, and just our sympathies and our, you know, our heart goes out to everybody who knew Aidan and everybody who loved him, and of course especially Kathy. And I just want to say, Aidan, we will see you again, sir, at some stage. And I just, lads, I know, Brendan, you were there yesterday. It was such a heart-wrenching day, but there was a lot of, I suppose, there was a lot of love and a lot of energy there from everybody in the club that to give Aidan a send-off.
Yes, indeed, Brendan. It was a really sad occasion to say goodbye to Aidan, and you know, as you said, I thought the club handled it impeccably, and you know that there was generations of different players down through the club, down through the years, and all togged out in their Union's gear, and it was whilst it was a sad occasion, I'm sure Aidan will be proud and looking down, and you know, his brother Gareth, you know, the two of them, you didn't see one without the other.
Yeah.
And it's just difficult. So it's difficult to comprehend. So it is, you know, in totality, and all we can do is, you know, think of the family, and hopefully they get over this and with time, and that's about it, Brendan. You know, so hard to know what to say.
Oh, listen, that's it, Brendan. That's it. Listen, he'll be sorely missed.
Yeah, a great fella, and we pass all our condolences down in Termon to everyone in St Eunan's, and Aidan, we knew him well. We used to see him out running as well, and
that's right.
And
he's big in AC, Letterkenny AC.
Big into the running, and difficult time for everyone in St Eunan's. So we pass on our condolences.
Thanks, Pauric. Much appreciated, folks. As I said at the top of the show, even though football for many of us took a different light at the weekend, it was a huge weekend of championship, and Pauric with Brendan and Ryan Ferry is going to take us through that shortly. I just want to first of all mention the Donegal Masters and the great Francie Martin, who's put so much on the sport GA in this county, and he's working his magic again. So the Masters are in the plate final up in Breffney Park at 1 p.m. this Saturday, Donegal versus London. Some of the exiles, I'm sure there's a few Donegal boys mixed in through that as well. That's just from the weekend, of course. Glen Swilly, St Michael's, and Eve Connell Kilcar, fair play to them. They topped the group stages. So we now have games coming up. Gweedore, McCool's, St Eunan's, Ardra, Dunlow, Downings, 4 Masters. Killybegs are all playing in the prelim quarter-finals on Saturday and Sunday there, lads. I've put my fixture somewhere. There they are there.
It was Sunday, 4 Masters, Killybegs, and you have Gweedore and McCool. So you've got a couple of tasty ones there Saturday. You know, Downings and Dunlow going to be very looking forward to that one, you know.
Downings, that's 2 p.m. Yeah, you're right, on the Saturday.
And there's a bit of rekindling to be done, Ardra and St Eunan's, so that old love affair looks like it's going to continue. So that's on Saturday as well.
Yeah, that's the 2 Saturday games. Then Four Masters, Killybegs, 1 p.m. on Sunday in Ardra, and then Gidor McCool's are playing the Donald Park at 4 p.m. Of course, the relegation playoffs, they're happening on Sunday. Area Ballyshannon are taking on Cloughaneely. That's in the Donald Park. Time to be confirmed. Is it? No, it's at 1 o'clock. Sorry,
1 o'clock. Yeah.
And Glenfin are playing St Knowles, and that's in Donegal Town, and that is on at 4 p.m. So yeah, a lot of crunch games to get into there, lads. You are going to take us through all the scenarios, and lads, of course we have to mention the 365s at the weekend. 365. What's that sound like? 365 degrees. There was 365s at the weekend, boys, in club football. I'm sure that's going to come up, Brendan, because you were at one of them doing commentary, which is not an easy thing to do now. So lads, I'm sure that'll come up as part of the discussion. Pauric and say Ryan Ferry's on the line there as well. Ryan, you coming through?
I am. I'm here, Brendan. Yeah.
Good man, yourself.
Hi, Ryan.
How are we, man?
Good. Yeah.
So lads, of course, looking forward, or well, looking back, reflecting on the weekend. We do know who's the parents, but first of all, Glen Swilly sitting top. Brendan, you have St Michael's and Neve Connell and Kilcar. Look, Glen Swilly, you know, happy enough with their performances in the knockouts, or in the league format of the championship. St Michael's will be the same, so as Neve Connell, Kilcar, but St Eunan's, suppose, talk us through that one first of all. Your thoughts on that, suppose?
Yeah, well, listen, I suppose you have to go back to the Gidor game, and Gidor came up the park and went away with the 2 points after battling and, you know, setting up a good defensive rearguard that Eunan's didn't break down, and, you know, that was 2 points. And I was at the game down in Downings again of the weekend, and, you know, Eunan's led by 6 at half time, had a fair nice breeze behind them in the second half and didn't really kick on. It ended up 4 points apiece in the second half. The game won 10 to 7 points, and Eunan's again did, you know, a lot of unforced errors. Listen, there was a lot going on in the club, as we discussed earlier, but a lot of unforced errors, and you have to give great credit to Downings, like, to set up well. I say the tight confines of the pitch down in Downings didn't really suit the Eunan's style of play either. So listen, it just means they've to go out again this weekend, and that's not such a bad thing either. I don't see a huge problem with that. You know, it's a game a week, and, you know, if players at this level, they're all, we know the shape they're in, the fitness levels and all that kind of thing. The worry is you pick up a knock to a key player or that, but I don't see it as a major problem. And they're coming up against Ardra, as you mentioned, and my good friend Damien Devenney in charge of Ardra. I don't know how happy he is with the draw, but, you know, Ardra got their 2 points and they avoided the relegation playoffs, and I think that was their main objective at the outset of the championship, so it was. And at this stage now, they've got the tougher of the 4 prelim quarterfinals, I think. Yeah. I think you look at the other 3 games and, you know, there's no defined favourite as such if you look at the 3 of them, whereas the Eunan's are obviously going to go in this as raging hot favourites. And, you know, they demolished Ardra, I think, last year out in the park in a championship match. And so Ardra have been plodding along nicely. The 2 Malloys, KJ, John Ross, playing really well for them. Kevin White got sent off early yesterday, but they've Connor Claassen, CJ, you know, so, you know, there's a lot of quality in that Ardra team. Charlie Bennett playing cornerback did a really good job, I believe, yesterday too. He was marking Sen and Carr, and so, you know, Ardra won't have an awful lot to lose, but Eunan's will win as hot favourites in that one.
Yeah, I suppose, Ryan, just going to bring you in that one. If you were in the Eunan's camp, you'd be disappointed. First of all, not qualifying for automatic qualification into the quarterfinals. Yeah, and they've got Ardra. Brendan's maybe suggested it's just another game, but look, they would have liked to gone through following some of their performances in the league format of the championship.
Yeah, Pauric, like, it really is a strange one when you think about it. Like, they defeated Kilcar, they defeated Neve Connell, both fairly comfortably. And the only game they lost was by a point, and yet Kilcar and Neve Connell are safely through to the quarterfinals, and they have this extra game, which, you know, okay, people are expecting them to come through, but you know, it could be a hindrance in some degree. So, you know, you're probably looking at it, Brendan, or Pauric, I probably did think it was exciting over the last 2 weekends and seeing how teams would go, and a lot of teams kind of close together on points and that. But when you look at it, score difference did have a big say in it, and whether that's right or wrong, I'm not so sure. But that's the way it is. Yeah, look, it's a tough game for Ardra. Like maybe Ardra would think they would have been better one spot further down, but look, that's what it is. They've got to get on with it now. Maybe they'll take heart from Downing's last week, where put up a good enough account of themselves against St. Eunan's. So maybe Ardra will try and take something from that. I don't know if they were down watching, and go from there. And look, it's one of those, Pauric. They're safe in senior football for another year. They can go and have a lash at it. Nobody's expecting them to win, but you never know how it'll play out.
Absolutely, and if they, as you said, rightly said, Ryan, if they look at the performances Gweedore had against St. Eunan's, the performance Downings did as well. Look, there's a bit of a template there already. Brendan, Devenney won't want to hear about it, or you either, but it's going to be defensive, I would say, Brendan.
Yeah, you would imagine so. They're going to have to try and shut up shop and not let Eunan's get a run at them, so they are. And we saw Downings do it on Saturday evening, and as you mentioned, Gweedore did it the week before up in O'Donnell Park. So I'm sure Damien and his team, management team, will have a look at that this week and see how they set up. It wouldn't be a traditional way that Ardra would normally go out and play football. They like to go out and play orthodox football as such, but it's a means must kind of thing. And Ryan correctly said, there's nothing to lose as such, so no one expects really much from them in that respect. But Eunan's, Niall O'Donnell didn't feature on Saturday night. Darren Mulgrew, a couple other players, and if they're going to progress in the championship, they need to get these players back on the pitch, so they are, because they're crucial to their and to be fair to Eunan's too on Saturday night, like Kieran Moore, superb game, kicked some wonderful points, and they never looked in trouble from early on. Downing's got the first couple of scores, Paddy McEltree and one of the McGrady's, and to be fair, Oran Winston, who was busy first half, then got a mark and got Eunan's off the mark, and from there they kicked on. They never looked in trouble as such, so they didn't. So I don't see, as I say, I don't see a huge problem. The extra game this weekend, they just got to get on with it now at this stage. Knuckle
down. We'll reflect on that game you're at yesterday, Brendan. Gweedore against St. Michael's. St. Michael's gone down to Maharagallen. I think it's quite some time since Gweedore last got beat down in Maharagallen in the championship. It was a very defensive game. 6-5 was the final score. St. Michael's will not care. Daniel McLaughlin rolling back the years, kicking 2 points, and suppose I think it's the first time in 12 years, we were saying earlier on, that St. Michael's has beaten one of the top 4.
Yeah, and very, very much deserved yesterday, so it was. Listen, conditions weren't great now because there was a cold wind blowing right down the field, so there was, and from the very outset, Michaels took control of the ball, and they were happy to play the ball around the middle third, so they were not take any chances going in. I thought Gweedore were a bit flat. I thought maybe that they could have come out and put a bit more pressure on St. Michael's. St. Michael's looked very comfortable in possession, so they did, and played really well, particularly around as I say, that middle third area, in the middle of the park, where they showed that bit more hunger for breaking ball. The likes of Andrew Kelly, Colum McFadden, Martin McElhenney, the two O'Reilly brothers inside worked really hard, and they just did enough, and it was 2 points apiece at half time, and there was very little to get excited. Myself and Oisin were doing live commentary, and it was difficult to do commentary on it. So
the word I have here is uneventful. He's kept referencing, so it must have been very uneventful.
It certainly was, but Gweedore minus a couple of players, so they really, I think, going back to about the score difference, I think there was something in the back of their minds that they couldn't improve their position, that the top 4 was not on a table for them, so there was nothing really to lose yesterday either, so there wasn't. But they'll be concerned by their performance, so they will going into the next day, and they know they're coming up against a good, fairly strong McCool's team in the semi-final, who'll be looking for retribution after last year, and they'll know that they'll need to be a lot better next Sunday. Going back to the game, I thought Michael Langan had a superb game for St. Michael's. He kicked a point into the teeth of the wind from just on the 45. It looked impossible, but he put it well over the bar and caught a couple of great balls around the middle of the field. And even in the last moments when Gweedore were looking to get that goal, it was him that was kind of in on the edge of his own square, breaking ball out and defensive rear guard. So, Michael's will take a lot. They've had 4 wins on the bounce, so they have now, and they've gone playing really well. They're really well set up, and they'll prove a difficult opponent for whoever they get in the quarter final.
Yeah, they definitely will. And Ryan, a massive loss for Cal Sweeney's side. Michael Langan heading away because St Michael's, of course, they will fancy their chances in a quarter final.
Yeah, like it's a big blow for St Michael's, obviously, because it's probably between him and Oisín Gallen for the best player in the county, really, at the minute. So it's definitely going to be a huge loss. We've seen it last year, when he was out injured and they didn't have him. They ended up in a relegation playoff, and it was only when he came back that day that they got the win that they needed when he came on. When he was introduced after his long term injury. So yeah, it's a huge blow not to have him. And but like it's a squad game, as the man says. So it'll be somebody else will have to step up, and likes of Daniel McLaughlin coming off the bench, and there is a stronger look to that St Michael's side now. They're a well-seasoned team. They don't give up many scores, so they'll be thinking. I'm pretty sure it's an open draw, isn't it, in the quarter final? So they'll be thinking. They'll be thinking. Why not getting through to the semi-finals at this stage? They're going well and they've got momentum.
Another side that's got plenty of momentum is Glen Swilly, of course, who topped the table this year. Look, Ryan, looking at the performance yesterday and throughout the season's championship, another good victory at home in Park Neave Columba, 11 to 12 points. A certain gentleman kicking 6 points yesterday as well for Gary McDade's side.
Yeah, like I would say Glen Swilly are delighted with how they're going. They've got the 4 wins. The only good day I seen them was against Cloughaneely, and probably they weren't at their best that day, but they still dug out the win. And maybe they learned a wee bit about themselves that day as well. They're obviously they've had good underage success, and Gary is happy to throw in young lads. I think he's used maybe 22, 23 players already, and they're getting on with it. Murphy looks lean and he looks sharp and he's going well in attack, and you've Gary McFadden, you've Dahi Gilday, they'll be trying to get Keelan Dunleavy back into the mix now. So yeah, going well. And like last year they just missed out on the quarterfinals, and they had to play Glenfin in the preliminary quarterfinals, and they won that game quite comfortably. But I remember there was some talk after it that when they lost the quarterfinals to McCool's, that maybe they could have done with the extra week break. So now they have it this year, and we know Glen Swilly people, they love their football. Pauric, they'll be out watching all the games this weekend that they can get their eyes on, and I'm sure they'll be well prepared for whoever they're playing in the last 8.
Notepads and iPads and everything at the ready. But look, as I say, Brendan, looking at Glen Swilly, the performances this year so far, questions have been asked of them. They've delivered.
Yeah, and Ryan saw them against Cloughaneely. I only saw them the one day against Four Masters, and I was very impressed. Things mightn't have been going their way, but they showed that they were able to stick at it and grind out a result. And there's a lot of good young players involved in that side, and like the 2 Gallaghers and the half back line have been really, really impressive. They're tenacious, they're hungry for breaking ball, for that dirty ball around the middle of the park, so they are, and they'll drive them on. And then you have the likes of Dahi Gilday, Owen Scott, that really good young players coming through. And it's, obviously Michael is the main man there. You have Keelan Kelly and Copper and, a couple other experienced players. But they're gelling really well. Gary has them going really well together, playing. They're playing with a lot of just tenaciousness and fight in them, and you can see that they're on a mission, so they are, and they're going to be a tall order for whoever they get in the quarter final. So they will going really well. I've been really impressed with them, so I have.
Another side whose performance this year has been impressive. Ryan, you were at Ross's Park yesterday for us here at Highland Radio Sunday Sport. Dunlow, big score against St Knowles, 214 to 6 points, and a good home victory for them, of course. And suppose Dunlow, coming up from intermediate a couple of years ago, they've been impressive.
They definitely have been impressive, and yesterday it was very noticeable, and I was just behind the Dunlow dugout. They were pushing the team on. They felt they could get into the top 4, with a good score difference, and they were very unlucky not to make it just in the end up. And Oisín Bonar had a goal chance with about 5 minutes to go that crashed off the crossbar. Gavin Mulroney made a great save from Mark Curran in the first half. So, they could have been sitting pretty in the quarterfinals. Now they have a game against Downings, and, they won't fear Downings, but, they'll respect what Downings will bring to it as well. And, I'm pretty sure maybe the last time they met in the league a couple of years ago, Downings turned over Dunlow. So they won't be taken it for granted. But yeah, like I've seen Dunlow 3 times, Pauric, and and I've seen him a lot over the last couple of years in intermediate and things like that. And I'm really impressed with them. I'm really impressed with their conditioning. They've got tough, hard-hitting defenders. They've got a good goalkeeper in Danny Rogers, Ryan Connors, and Darren Kern in the midfield. They're physical and they're mobile, and up front, I suppose there's always a wee question mark. Are they going to get enough scores? But Dylan Sweeney was excellent yesterday. Scored 5 points from play. Connor Green scored a good goal, and another man I have to mention is Carl McGee. He picked up Patter Mogan, followed him all over the pitch, and helped himself to a mark as well. Really impressed with him. So yeah, I think Dunlow are moving nicely. They're building confidence, and they'll put it up to anybody they're facing.
Yeah, Downings and Dunlow is on Saturday at 2:00 as well in Clonneely, I think that particular game is. So that's going to be a real ding-dong battle. As we fly through the rest of them, Kilcar notching up a big score against Clonneely, 217 to 8 points. Killybegs were defeated by Glenfin, 11 points to 2-8, and Neve Connell knocked up 4-11 to Irua's 5 points. Charles McGuinness getting 2 goals there, Brendan, and Neve Connell have quietly got themselves into the quarterfinals as well.
Yeah, and motoring very nicely, and Martin Regan was an interested observer down in Downings on Saturday evening too, so he was. You just look through that Neve Connell team, there's quality all through it. Charlie McGuinness, as you mentioned, scored 2-3. I think Finbar Rorty came in with a goal too, and they've so much quality, and they can bring more quality in off the bench, so they can. And I see Leo made his first probably start of the year too, maybe started another game, but they're able to manage these players back into the peak of championship, so they are. And they're still favourites in my book. They're the team that continue to throughout the best performances, bar that loss to St. Junans. They've been hugely consistent.
For Masters as well, eking out a victory against Ardra. I suppose in Pearse Memorial Park, we know how difficult it is to go down to Kentucky and get a victory, but this young Four Masters side, Ryan, they've been performing really well. They had to eke out that victory yesterday, and suppose that experience will stand to them going to the preliminary quarterfinals.
Absolutely, it will be. They had a great victory over Gweedore at the start of the championship, Warwick, but it's probably even sweeter just edging out Ardra. Maybe everybody was expecting them to win it, but like Ardra putting it up to you, tough place to go, and coming away with a 1-point victory for a young team that are building their senior experience. It's definitely a good result for them, and they have a fairly tasty one against Killybegs now, and for this Four Masters team, they were in the preliminary quarterfinals last year. I think they'll see getting through to the last 8 as real progress along with their league title this year. So I think they'll probably just be taking it one step at a time, and I think they'll be very happy if they can get past Killybegs.
Yeah, definitely. And hey, looking at this one, Brendan, as well, we'll come back to the relegation playoffs, but you would be quite happy with your Four Masters side. They're developing nicely, young, youthful guys, and coming away with good performances, good victories as well. So can only be good building blocks for them.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. And they've had a really good championship to date. They'll rue that loss to Glenswilly, where they feel they may have got something out of that, so they will. But apart from that, their performances have been dogged, and they've shown a lot of quality. So they have, Senan Quinn, I think, Senan Carr has banged in 6 goals, so he has for them, and he looks to be in great shape, and they've a lot of quality right through the team. Colum McFadde, cornerback, has really impressed me too. Anytime I've seen him, he's been really, really good for them. But I think the thing with Four Masters is, the expectation levels and the talk out there, because of all the success they had at minor and at underage over the last number of years, it'll take time for that to translate into senior success, and all they can do is the building blocks to get there, and they're going the right way about it.
A team that's not getting much talk about, but they've made their way in through to the quarterfinals is Kilcoyne, Ryan, and suppose a big victory in Towney at the weekend against Cloughaneely, 2-17 to 8 points, and they were in control of that game the whole way through, but sitting quietly there, saying very little, and well, they're doing the business.
Yeah, well, they were well beaten that first day against St. Eunan's, but they've backed that up with three fairly comfortable results, Pauric, and the team's gradually getting stronger, all the time. Ryan McHugh's back now, he's in the mix. And Jason Campbell's back from Australia now as well, Pauric, and he's a big man in midfield. And when people would have said in the past that Kilcoyne lacked that wee bit of physicality, and he definitely gives them plenty of that in midfield. And Kieran McGinley last year, he was struggling with injury during the championship, seems to be getting a good run at it, and scored a couple of points yesterday as well. And then you've obviously Patrick McFadde up at full forward, and it's going to take a good defender to keep him quiet. So, it's a big year for Kilcoyne. It's their centenary year, and they want to push it real hard for the Dr. Maguire.
They definitely will. So just recapping on this weekend's games, there's some mouth-watering encounters in the Senior Championship. On Saturday, we've got Dunlow against Downings at 2 o'clock in Cloughaneely. St. Eunan's take on Ardra in McCool Park. That game is at 7:30. Suppose for Masters are taking on Killybegs on Sunday at 1 o'clock, and we're still awaiting that venue. Sorry, it is Ardra. Gweedore take on Sean McCool's in O'Donnell Park at 4 o'clock as well. So lads, I'm going to put it out to you now. Dunlow and Downings, who's going to come out of that one? I'll go Ryan first.
I've been impressed with Dunlow. I think they'll win this one, Pauric.
What's your thinking on that one?
Yeah, I'd concur with Ryan on that. I just think Dunlow might have a bit too much for Downings. Downings, again, would be very happy that they avoided relegation playoffs, etc. And you would fancy Dunlow to come through there.
And the next, of course, is St. Eunan's against Ardra. I would say both these are going for a St. Eunan's victory there. Yeah,
based on everything I think, Pauric, you'd have to fancy St. Eunan's coming away with a victory in this one.
For Masters Killybegs, Ryan, yeah.
Yeah, for Masters Killybegs, real tight game, I think this will be, but I just feel that for Masters, things seem to be going a wee bit better for them. We haven't seen Owen Bang Gallagher yet for Killybegs. Will we see him this week? I don't know. So I think you'd have to give the nod towards for Masters for this one.
And I take it you're agreeing was Brendan's prediction against St. Eunan's and Ardra before I cut you off there.
Yeah, I think it'd be a major shock if Ardra won that game, let's be honest.
And I suppose the final game of the weekend, of course, Gweedore against Sean McCool. This is going to be a tight tussle as well, Brendan.
Yeah, really very difficult game to call this. So it is the good old battle last year. So they had Gweedore weren't overly impressive last week, but they play well in O'Donnell Park. They like playing in O'Donnell Park, so they'll probably go in as slight favourites, but really, really difficult one to call. Now that I suppose Oisín Gallen is back, and see Sean Martin was back for McCool's too at the weekend, so they're strengthening up too as our Kilcoyne as the championship progresses. But you have to say Gweedore probably will go in as slight favourites.
And Gweedore for you, Brendan, and Ryan.
Yeah, real tight game. Gweedore, like O'Donnell Park, they have a very good record there. They won a couple of weeks ago against St. Eunan's when they sat real deep and were able to hit in a counter attack. And I just feel they'll try and do the same. They'll try and suffocate the space around Oisín Gallen, and I just have a feeling that they'll come through it. Okay,
well, some big predictions there, and we'll look forward to seeing do your predictions turn out to be fate, of course. And
probably not.
We'll look forward to the senior relegation playoffs as well. Era Ballyshannon take on Cloughaneely in O'Donnell Park as well on Sunday at 1 o'clock, and Glenfin against St. Knowles as well. Tyrconnell Park is the venue there at 4 o'clock. Okay, thanks to Brendan Kilcoyne for joining us to summarising the Senior Football Championship. Of course, Brendan Devenney and Ryan are going to recap the intermediate and the junior and look forward to the quarter-finals of the intermediate and the junior after these.
The DL Debate with Sister Sarah's Letterkenny, serving food you'll love till 9 p.m. daily in Sarah's Kitchen. And there's free admission entertainment every weekend.
At Screwfix, you can click and collect over 10,000 trade products in as little as 1 minute. So So whether it's a power drill in Portlaoise or guttering in Galway, when you need it yesterday, just click at screwfix.ie and collect at your local store 7 days a week. T's and C's apply. Visit screwfix.ie for full details.
Home improvements are well worth making, especially when they help build a more sustainable future for us all. With the Generation Green Home Upgrade from SSE Airtricity, you can enjoy a more energy-efficient home with solutions tailored to your budget. And now home upgrades are easier to finance. You can access new low-cost government-backed loans as well as the existing SEAI grants. And we're here to help. Make an improvement that will make a real difference at sseairtricity.com/home upgrade. Registered with the SEAI for home energy upgrades. Grants offered are provided by the Government of Ireland to the Sustainable Energy Authority of Ireland. Terms and conditions apply to the home energy upgrade loan.
Climate change is something we're all living with, and we can all take climate action. Right now, across the country, communities are doing just that. Whether it's reducing energy use at home, planting trees, taking the bus, or harnessing solar power in rural towns and villages. The more of us who get involved, the more we can achieve, because climate actions work. For information and resources, go to gov.ie/climate actions work. Brought to you by the Government of Ireland.
The DL Debate with Sister Sarah's Letterkenny, serving food you'll love till 9 p.m. daily in Sarah's Kitchen. And there's free admission entertainment every weekend.
Yes, folks, welcome back again. Thanks, Pauric Hilferty and Colcoyne and Ryan for wrapping up the Senior Championship as we finally get into crunch station where the real stuff
here. Where do you get the glasses there, huh?
In a shop. I had to bite the bullet.
Have you got the If you
I had
the
to
camera
bite the
on
bullet. I'm just looking at some league
you look like a
tables
teacher
there.
now.
Do you?
You do.
They look
You
intelligent.
give it to me. Me Joe Dex lines, eh?
You wouldn't put me in charge in a classroom. I tell you. Listen, you have to just sometimes admit the eyes aren't working properly. This is what happens, lad. Things start to deteriorate a bit. Here, listen. Just get past my glasses quick. Hey, Intermediate Championship. Ryan Ferry, the man of knowledge, of course. Ryan Terman, 4 from 4, topping the group. Buncrana, Mulford, Leaf Columba, Bundoran, Nivora, and Malin, all in the mix there. Ryan, just from the weekend, Ryan, the big games, what stood out for you?
Good to have you back on there, Brendan.
Thanks,
You're like a forward there coming towards the latter end stages of the career where there's 20 good minutes left in you at the end of the match.
Nice clutch scoring him, eh?
At least I'm good for something. I'll take that, right?
Yeah. Listen, Brendan, this intermediate championship is a strange one.
Yes.
Like, it's very hard to say who are the form teams in it. Like, it's, nobody has been. Nobody's really shooting the lights out as such. Like Terman probably after the first 2 rounds, you were saying they're flying, and then the last 2 games have only just edged through them. Like Mulford have probably been a wee bit disappointing with some of their results. Buncrana have got picked up 7 points. They had a great win down against Nivora the last day, but they've been missing a number of key players like Colum McFadden, as far as I'm aware, had surgery last week. Yeah. So, that's a big blow. Malin, were in the final last year, probably haven't got the results you would expect. And, Neve Columba, I seen them on Saturday evening, and they were very lucky to get a result against Burt. Suppose maybe Bundoran, maybe people were writing off Bundoran a wee bit. Maybe their performances have been impressive, but it's and Nivora, after losing to Narossa the first day out, you were wondering where they are. They bounced back reasonably well. Probably disappointed to lose to Buncrana. So it's an interesting one. It's definitely well poised heading into the quarterfinals. Yeah,
you just mentioned Burt there. They seem very unlucky in the last number of weeks. They came so close to big results, and there they end up at the bottom of the table. They'll still fancy their chances to get out of this.
I tell you what, Brendan, like if I was over a team, I would not want to be playing Burt at all, to be honest. Like, they tackle hard and they battle for everything. And, they were happy to let Neve Columba chip the ball out short, and that all these players lined up on the 45-metre line, and then they were just charging at them then to try and win the ball high up the pitch. And, You know, they're well organised. They had about 3 very good goal chances the last day that they didn't take, and you know, I'm sure Ronan McLaughlin was scratching his head at how they ended up losing the match. And in fairness, you have to hand it to Bird, because like I was looking at the table before the game, and you're thinking it doesn't look like they can really make it out to the quarterfinals, but they still went and delivered a big performance.
Yeah.
So, yeah, like I wouldn't want to be coming up against them.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and you mentioned there obviously Niamh Mhura, Buncrana. You know, obviously that late Aaron Cleary goal, but they also Buncrana got an OG in the first half. You know, that's a gut wrenching one for Niamh Mhura. But Ryan, you know, looking ahead, you know, obviously Termon Red Hughes is the first game there in the quarters. That's on Saturday at Donald Park at 3:30, and then we've got Mulford Niamh Mhura. Then that's played at the same time in Falcara. Ryan, it's hard, I suppose, Ryan, looking at those fixtures in terms of, as you were saying there, literally on the day. You know, we used to say football isn't on the day anymore, but with that intermediate championship, it looks like it is.
Yeah, like I just, you know, looking back to previous years, like there's usually a couple of teams that are really standing out in the group phase, and it hasn't really been like that, you know, as such. So definitely an interesting one. Like Red Hughes and Termon played out a low scoring game last Saturday. They're meeting again this week. You know, will it be a different story? You know, I think it's O'Donnell Park for that one, so probably a bit of a bigger pitch. You know, there's a bit of recent history between these two teams as well. Like, so, you know, you would be expecting Termon to come through it, but you know, Red Hughes have done well without Jack Gillespie, who was a big scorer for them. You know, and that is poor league, but you know they did well to squeeze into the quarterfinals, and you know, again, nothing really to lose, but I think most people will be expecting Termon to come through in that.
Yeah, surely. And then on the Sunday we've Niamh Columba against Bundoran. That's in Mount Charles, and then that is at 12:30 throw-in. We then have Buncrana and Malin. Big game in Carndonna. Derby match there. There'll be a few sparks flying at that one, right?
Yeah, and you know, probably looking at it, Brendan, I would have felt, you know, last week when the table was kind of taking shape, it looked like Malin would probably finish in the outside from number 4 to number 8 in some way, and you know, they're a strong team. They have players coming back. Michael Byrne has used a lot of players in the championship, but he's like the Matthew Byrne back, Sean Kelly, who weren't playing in the earlier stages of the league this year. So they're pretty much, and Nadosh McGonigal back at the weekend. So they're strong. I think I'm pretty sure these teams drew in the championship group phase last year. So you know, there's not a great deal between them. I would expect there'll be a big crowd at Foden to watch that game, and you know, as I was mentioning, you know, Buncrana have had their injuries. Big Sean McLaughlin out with a cruciate injury as well. But you know, the young boys that have come in, Aaron Cleary and the Dara Corries and these boys, Dylan Mulholland, they seem to really have seamlessly transitioned to senior football. And you know, I think they won't fear Malin either. So could be a real tight game. Could be an extra time job there.
Yeah, and certainly I find that the playoff games seriously interesting. You mentioned Burt there playing Fanad, who, you know, by their own standards have had a poor season. Of course, Letterkenny Gales somehow pulled a performance out of, you know, no one was expecting that victory. You know, and freeing, of course, the county man back in there as well. That's a massive game, as you said. Burt there, take tough, you know, and the Rasa then. Letterkenny Gales, that'll be giving Gales a big bit of hope going into that game as well. So Fanad and Burt, that's on at 5 o'clock on Saturday at Donald Park, and the Rasa Letterkenny Gales is on in Glenties at 5 o'clock as well. Ryan, that's the intermediate. Ryan, just a quick one. There's a couple of quarterfinals are up for grabs in the junior championship. Niamh Padraig Muff against Niamh Breed. That's the junior A quarterfinals. That's been played on Saturday, as well as Carndonna Oris, or Convoy and Oris, sorry.
Yeah, I suppose, you know, and like it's very, very sad news for the Niamh Padraig Club over the last day with the sad passing of Evan Craig. And you know, I would have remembered watching Evan play in underage finals. You know, Niamh Padraig would always have done quite well in underage over the last 10 years, and they would have been in minor finals and under 16 finals, and he always stood out for his red hair and his speedy play. And I remember hearing the news last year that he had taken on well, and very, very sad. And it's you'd have just passed on your condolences to his family and his friends and his club, and it's going to be really, really tough for his teammates to go out again on Saturday evening, and like Niamh Padraig, a lot of people probably would be expecting him to come through it. I would fancy them to win it, but it's going to be a challenging week for those boys, no doubt about it. And the other game, we were all wondering actually what was going to happen here, because Carndonagh and Convoy had finished level on points, but Convoy had received 2 walkovers. So we were kind of a bit in the dark about what some people were saying a playoff would be needed, but there's some ruling about the score difference or that was used, rule 11.1 or something like that, Brendan.
Yes.
You'll have to excuse me a wee bit here. I only got that information late in the evening.
I know that one well.
Yeah, so St Mary's Convoy are going to play Orris, and it's a good opportunity for St Mary's. As I said, they had 2 walkovers. They were home games, so they didn't actually get a home game. So now they'll have a home game against Orris, and Orris are doing okay. They might give a good account of themselves against Niamh Ultan at the weekend. Yeah. But you'd probably expect Convoy to come through that one.
Yeah, 100%, Ryan. As ever, Magic Man. Hey, thanks for wrapping everything up from the weekend, Ryan. We'll be talking to you as this championship gets into the real business end.
Top man, Brendan. Thank
you. Appreciate it.
Thanks,
Top man,
Ryan.
Ryan Ferry, the Donegal News there. Get the paper. What a roundup every Monday. Fantastic stuff.
He knows every club inside out. He knows what's going on.
He is. He's a mighty man. He's a mighty man. Another mighty man we're going to talk to after the break is Colum McFadden.
The DL Debate with Sister Sarah's Letterkenny, serving food you'll love till 9 p.m. daily in Sarah's Kitchen. And there's free admission entertainment every weekend. Hamilton is coming to the Bord Gáis Energy Theatre on Monday 21st of October 2024. This hugely popular musical is almost sold out, but here at Highland Radio we've got you covered. We include luxury transfers, overnight stay at the 4-star City North Hotel Dublin, your ticket to the show and a shopping trip to Dublin the next day. To book, simply call us on 074 9125,000 or visit the outlet at highlandradio.com.
Get ready for the biggest sale in iMotors history. From Thursday, September 12th to Sunday, September 15th, we're offering amazing deals on our entire used car selection. Enjoy your first car service on us. 12 months road tax and up to 12 months of iMotors warranty. Plus massive price cuts across the range. Mark your calendars now. This is one event you don't want to miss.
The DL Debate with Sister Sarah's Letterkenny, serving food you'll love till 9 p.m. daily in Sarah's Kitchen. And there's free admission entertainment every weekend.
Yes, folks, welcome back. Now we're joined by Donegal legend, All Ireland winner, and of course a member of the Donegal backroom team now. It's Colum McFadden. How are you, sir?
Yes, Brendan, how are you getting on?
I thought I'd call you sir. That's
not so bad here.
That should be called these days. Of course, you're the VP at St Eunan's College there, educating the next generation. Fair play to you, Colm.
Thanks, Brendan. I'm
just
down in Devenney here. I'm trying to find a sheltered spot here.
That could be difficult in Dunfanny, you know. But don't worry about that, dude. See if you get a wee spot there, Colm. We're not keeping you too long. Colm, myself and yourself were talking last week there. We're going to get on. There's a project, a fundraiser the club's running there, Colm. But first of all, just like to ask you were at the Creasla, you were at the St Michael's and Gidor game at the weekend, were you?
I was over in Mahergallen yesterday.
You would normally, Colm, I was thinking about you. If 5 or 6 points, you'd be unhappy with that at club level yourself. Never mind the whole game.
I just knew after 5 minutes. I said this looks like a game that there will hardly be 10 scores in it, and it turned out there's only 11 scores now. In fairness, there was a knockwood breeze going right across the field, like, and it wasn't easy to shoot in any direction.
Yes.
It's just one of those kind of games, but.
Unfortunately, there was a few of them at the weekend, Colm. I think the rule change is the only thing's going to shift us. Maybe, Colm, when you're looking at games now, are you looking in perspective of certain players out there that you might have an eye on? Are you just going as a St Michael's fan at the minute, or is there's obviously two things going on in your head as a coach and a member of the Donegal management?
I suppose you have two hats on. As you're looking out for St Michael's and hoping to do well. You're looking out for new talent as well, and every day you go out. But I suppose from now on, like the groups games are kind of, it's kind of teams are finding their way and getting used to playing with one another. And I suppose from next weekend on, now it'll be down to the knockout competition, so it'll be real interesting from here on.
Yeah. And Colm, tell me, just on last year, your experience, I remember when Mickey McGeehan, I went down along with him in 2012, I very much wanted to come on because I hadn't coached the team before and I wanted to kind of learn from him. Was that part of your mindset going in with Jim last year to learn from, obviously, everything that Jim has experience-wise? Is it something, Colm, that you see your future being in, coaching, even after your time with the Donegal team?
I was supposed to a big interest in college there to coach for a number of years, and then I'm coaching underage here in the club now and that, and I suppose you're always looking to learn. And even I suppose when I finished playing county football, you kind of needed a break from the whole thing. At that stage, you're just burnt out. But in the last couple of years, you're following the games and you're going to the games with your family and that, and to get an opportunity to work up front and up close to the players and working under Jim was something you couldn't turn down. Like, so it's a good setup to be part of, and watch the boys in the panel, the way they operate and the way they look after themselves. Like, it's it's just lucky to be working with them, and we're looking forward to next year again. Hopefully we can build on the year gone by.
And what's it like there, Colm? Obviously you've Anton in there, you obviously have Charles in there as well, Jim's nephew. It must make, I suppose, when you do so well last year, winning the league, and then the Ulster Championship and that, there's a special bond there, particularly with his family.
I suppose like, and I suppose Jim was in charge of it back in, I don't know if you look too much about the family side of it, like, but he was in charge of it back in 2012 and 2011, 12, 13, and was fond memories back then, and it was just good to be working with him again, and everything covered and everything off the tee, so it's a good setup to be part of. But I suppose next year the expectations going to be a wee bit higher, might be a little bit different, but something hopefully we can build on and push on and work and improving a few things from this year and maybe go one step further.
And Colm, tell me, just from your time playing under Jim, that memorable 4 years and the 3 Ulsters, the All Ireland, of course, the 2 finals, that's fisted after years and hit the bloody bottom of the post in that Kerry game, and I'll never forget it. But Colm, what a 4 years, Colm. See, from your perspective now, is there much of a change this time? I know obviously you're looking out from the management down, but is there much of a change in terms of that time to this time?
Well, you have to get the basics right, and tactically you have to be well switched on with that side of things. The way the game's played it's probably changed a bit, where now you're attacking with everyone's attacking and everyone's defending as a unit. And, I'd say probably the fitness levels and S&C, that side of things, is just that seems to keep improving and progressing every single year. So that side of things are probably really moved on. But I suppose still go back to the fundamentals. You still have to put the ball over the bar, and you still have to work as a team, and you have to be in good shape, like. And I suppose you need a wee bit of luck as well. Any panel that's missing 2 or 3 players through injury or whatever will struggle. That's going from the top teams down, and you want to keep a healthy panel. And I think when we went into the Ulster Championship, we started to get everyone back fit and back on the field, and that's key to any team, is keeping your panel of 25, 30 boys, as many of them fit as possible.
Yeah. And Colm, if this image of you training, is it a thing because of your forward playing that? Are you thinking more about that element of the pitch in terms of space and attacking and advice on shooting and frees and composure? And is Neil then maybe joining in and saying, here's how you go through a man and a tackle? Is that something that happens at training?
Neil likes that part of it, all right. Now, but I think you're kind of looking at it. You're looking at everything, and I could, most definitely in the attacking game, there's, you can't just go out and play off the cuff anymore. You'll be found out, and it's like the club championship games here locally. Teams are so well set up now that if you're going in blind to them games, you're going to struggle to put scores on the board. So, I know it's just a combination of everything. And like one thing with Jim is he's always thinking and always trying new things, and not afraid to try new things. So like it's you're learning from him most of the time, and taking on board what he's coaching the boys and that.
And And Colm, just last question on that. Do you think next year that remember year 1, year 2, people talked about Donegal. Do you think there has to be a bit of evolution with the team? A lot of people have talked about maybe a possible more kick pass element coming into the game, so we can maybe have a bit of a platform up the pitch rather than working it through the hands all the time. Maybe that there'll be another element will come into your play.
I think that's what any team that stands still is not going to progress, and you always have to be evolving and improving things. Like, and supposed to go back to 2011 and 12 defensively, we were very good but attacking. We had to work on a lot of things. We got that right in the second year. And, this year things were good both defensively and attacking, but you still have to be looking to improve and move things on. I suppose depends on these rule changes. What
that's the one. Yeah,
what changes they're talking. There's so many of them they're talking about and on about. So depends what it could be a total different sport that we're playing January next year. So we'll have to see how that goes and train towards it. But I think it's exciting. Listening and reading some of the proposed rules if they do come in, and hopefully they do improve the game and make it more exciting.
You'd been a choir man for the 2-pointer if they do. Colm, tell me this. You have a fundraiser coming up. You have an event running down there.
We're organising an event. A couple of us came together at the start of the year. Something we always kind of thought on that. Just the facility, the main days was down here, out over Tremore, out over the sand dunes there. So Donegal players over the years with the fond memories of it, up doing 200s and 400s over them. But it's just a lovely area. So there's a run out over the sand dunes, and there's a cycle, and then there's a kayak up near Muckish Mountain. So just a fundraiser. It's fairly manageable. Be open to anyone, like even if you're a beginner or an elite athlete, and it's all going back towards the St Michael's main report. So
where can you get information at, Colum, on it if you want to sign up or be part of it?
It's the Northwest Coastal Challenge. It's on Facebook, and it's St Michael's Facebook page, and it's on Instagram, and there's a website too. It's the Northwest Coastal Challenge.
Northwest Coastal Challenge.
All the entries coming in. It's on the 5th of October. So it's on Saturday, 5th of October, so it's not far away now.
Myself and Pauric. Well, Pauric's offering.
Manage it, Devenney?
Listen, Pauric Hilferty's offering.
I've Devenney signed up here now, Colm.
Is there a section for boys with beer bellies?
We'll get you through it. We'll manage.
Extra large.
We'll get you around the course now.
Listen, Colm, 100%. Colm, listen, 100%. Hey, listen, everybody get behind that. That would be a great day out, and support St Michael's Club, and a bit of fitness and training as well.
It's just kind of get the whole community out together, and that's what we're looking forward to. So far, so it should be good.
Yeah, 100%. Colm, as ever, brilliant to talk to you. Keep up the good work, sir.
Up and down the sand dunes.
Thanks, Brendan. All right, see you later.
Good luck, man. Take care. I was Colm McFadden here out coaching, and I tell you what, the man puts in some time. Hey, fair play to him. Hey, it's great to have him involved in the.
Are you going to do it? Are you?
Donegal setup. Don't be putting me on the spot now. I'll see. I'll have to ask herself. Hey, I'm a busy man. You want to thank Joe Dex. Stay tuned for the excellent Monday night sessions. A man from Cork and a man from Tyrone. They teamed up well. I tell you, boy. Speak to you all next week.
The DL Debate with Sister Sarah's Letterkenny, serving food you'll love till 9 p.m. daily in Sarah's Kitchen. And there's free admission entertainment every weekend.
At 8, good evening, I'm Tina Gates. Concerns are being raised that Gardaí are being trained for export. There are fewer sworn-in Garda members than at the start of last year, despite an ongoing recruitment campaign. Figures from the Garda Representative Association show dozens of candidates who got through Templemore didn't take up their places. Aintree leader Patrick Tobin says that's a worry.
Ironically, shockingly, we have the Australian police force coming to Ireland, offering better terms and conditions, and actually leaving with our trained Gardaí in a similar fashion that nurses and doctors are following suit. And, we're either going to provide services in this country, and if you want to do that, you have to provide pay terms and conditions that are competitive.
The Taoiseach is described as interesting, a Green Party proposal where parents would receive a one-off child benefit payment when a child is born. The Green Party wants to see a payment of €560 for parents in addition to regular payments. Micheál Martin says they'll discuss it.
I think it's an interesting proposal. We will engage with the Green Party, the Fine Gael Party, the Fáil Party, 3 members of government, different parties coming into a budget. People will put forward ideas like that.
Daniel McConnell is editor of the Business Post. He says there are concerns about the potential level of spending in the budget.
Seamus Coffey, the new head of the Irish Fiscal Advisory Council, said that there's an actual kind of current deficit in the numbers of about 10 billion that's been masked by this windfall tax. But yet the government, at a time of full employment, at a time when the economy is motoring almost at full tilt, wants to throw more fuel on the fire.
There are fresh calls for the government to cut the VAT rate for hospitality to 9%. It was increased to 13.5% last year after it was temporarily lowered to help the industry during the pandemic. Adrian Cummins is CEO of the Restaurants Association of Ireland. He says 612 restaurants, cafes, gastropubs and other food serving businesses have closed since it went back up.
That eroded all margins within the sector, and that's why it's important the government listen to our call and deliver upon our appeal in terms of a reinstatement of the 9% VAT rate.
There may be some new questions on the next census in 2027. The CSO is also testing an option to take the survey online. Eileen Murphy, head of Census Administration, says the census pilot on the 22nd of September will invite people in 6 counties to take part.
Where households' cars are parked overnight for planning electrical charging infrastructure. We're asking question on how is your mental health in general. We're asking question on higher education qualifications. And as we promised in Census 2022, we are testing questions on gender and sexual orientation.
Ireland's Paralympic athletes received a rapturous welcome home at Dublin Airport this evening. Dozens of people turned up at Terminal 2. Orla Comerford, who won a bronze medal in the 100-metre sprint event, says they were delighted with the support throughout.
I don't know, I'm kind of lost for words a little bit, to be honest. It's so lovely to see so many people come out and support us, and it's so lovely to have seen such a strong response from everybody, and the support has been so touching, and I'm just feeling very lucky.
Archaeologists are working against the clock and the tide to identify 3 mysterious shipwrecks that have appeared at Dublin's Portmarnock Strand. Carl Brady from the National Monument Service says they have a very short window to find the wrecks.
What tends to happen with wrecks like this on the beach is that they uncover maybe for a short period of time and then they cover over quite quickly. And we may not see these vessels again for another few months, a few years, or possibly even decades. So once they're buried in sand, we're happy that they're secure and preserved quite well, so we leave them in situ. Now, if we do get the opportunity, we might go out and carry out further recording of the vessels, maybe try and take some samples of the wood to see if we can get an exact date.
And that's your latest news update at 8:04. Sport now, and in soccer, Dundalk owner Brian Ainscough has described players and staff missing wages as a temporary issue he hopes will be resolved in the coming days. Following last week's defeat to St Pat's, Dundalk manager John Daly went public with a lack of payment to him and his players. Ainscough says investment in the club fell through last month and that he remains actively seeking fresh investment. He added that his immediate concern is getting the club to the end of the Premier Division season. John O'Shea insists there's no confusion over who's running the Republic of Ireland show. Following Saturday's 2-0 loss to England, manager Heimir Hallgrimsson said he hoped to gain more authority over the team in the games to come. O'Shea was chosen to update the media over the manager ahead of tomorrow's showdown with Greece, and the assistant is adamant he's just that.
It's clear I'm the assistant. I don't know why there has to be this constant. The boss is the boss. It's very simple. The players know that. You can ask Creve about that, the meetings that were coming across, the plans in place. So I don't know why you have to keep going on about that. For me, personally, it's clear from us, from the staff's point of view and from the players' point of view.
Meanwhile, Keevin Kelleher says his future lies away from Liverpool. The goalkeeper confirmed today that his club had rejected bids for his services during the summer, and with next summer's arrival of Georgi Mamardashvili, Kelleher knows his days at Anfield are numbered. In League B of the Nations League, it's Montenegro 0, Wales 2, Kiefer Moore and Harry Wilson scoring inside the first 3 minutes. Paralympics Ireland have confirmed swimmer Deaton Registe was subject to racist online abuse during the Paris Games. The Dungannon swimmer placed 6th in last week's final of the men's 100-metre breaststroke SB14. Both Registe and his family have since been spoken to about the incident, and Paralympics Ireland are providing them with support. And in cricket, England's women enjoyed a record-breaking win over Ireland in their second one-day international in Belfast. That's your latest news and sport at 6 minutes past 8.
Broadcasting throughout the Northwest and across the world online. This is Highland Radio with Paul McDevitt.
Minutes after 8 o'clock on a Monday night. You're very welcome in. That's the Monday night sessions with myself, Paul McDevitt, and Jimmy Stafford as always. And great night of music lined up for you that we guarantee you. We're talking to the group from Crack in Strabane about an event coming up celebrating the music and life of John and Sheila McElhenney. And Lucas McGuinness will be dropping by from Moville for a chat and a few songs. And also we'll be talking to the committee from the Glenties Harvest Fair. 086 60 25,000, that's our text number, that's our WhatsApp number as well, and we're delighted to hear from you if you want to say hello. We'll be streaming the programme live on all our platforms, so stay tuned for that. And also, we're telling you all about the local hero competition that winds up this coming Friday on Greg Hughes' show. There are a few brand new music tracks as well.